Well, guess what? We have a special guest on right now. Here he is, the man himself, now joining us on Joba The Mouth, U.S. Army veteran, Associate Vice President for Development of Tunnel to Towers Foundation, owner and operator of Upstage Strategies, the public affairs professional himself, Mr. Frank Luna. Clap it up for
Damn,
Frank.
bro.
Welcome, Frank. How we doing tonight?
Good, man. I don't know if I appreciate that intro more or how many pictures of myself are on the screen. So I that was well done, bro. Well
Hey,
done.
I appreciate the shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
The shirt is fire.
I appreciate that, Joba. This podcast can get no better because Joba Chamberlain said he liked my shirt. So 20-year-old me is just like, what in the hell is going on right now? So we're here for it, baby.
Now the real
it.
question: have you ever seen in your time knowing Nithin him wearing a shirt like that?
I don't know, man. I thought Nithin was punking me. So Nithin hits me up like, yo, you want to go on Joba Chamberlain's podcast? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, who would say no to that? I thought he was punking me. So I don't know if I'm more surprised that I'm on this podcast or that Nithin has never worn a shirt like this that I've ever seen. So
Nithin wears some interesting outfits.
First of all, Nithin is awful in coordinating. We love him, and he's great to us, and we love him near and dear to our hearts. But his fits are terrible.
Kind of legendary in a way.
legendary-esque. Yeah.
You know,
Now, if there's one thing
that we
legendary
show a
about
lot.
him, that's his
Is
world
he
famous
wearing
leash.
his blue blazer?
He's got the Blazers. Yo, he's got the Blazers, man. Nithin's got the Blazer game on fire.
Well, listen, I think we could get back to Nithin. Maybe we'll even invite him on near the end of the interview. But I got some questions for you. We want to hear about stuff. You have an interesting life, Frank. You're in Jersey. You down by the shore in Jersey?
Yeah, down by the Jersey Shore, about an hour, 20 minutes from New York City. Yeah, I grew up at the beach. It's tough for me to leave there. You know, it's
Everyone loves the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
The
man.
Long Island guys, Speedy, Errol, those Long Island guys, they only swear by their beaches. I live in Rockland County. I'm right on the
Okay.
Mawa border.
All right.
So I go down hour 20,
Go down the
hour
Parkway.
30.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
down the Parkway. I'm a
Yeah.
Jersey Shore guy myself. Well, why don't you tell these Long Islanders that are fans of our show why the Jersey Shore, we'll start there, why the Jersey Shore is superior than these beaches they have in Long Island.
Dude, you know what? I think I only went to Long Island like once, so I can't say why theirs are less superior. I can say that the thing I like about the Jersey Shore is you can go anywhere and find different stuff to do. You know, one of my side hustles that I just can't give up. My lady and I both bartend at the Stone Pony. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
have ever heard of that spot.
Of course.
There you go, Bachaba. I bet that ain't as stiff as the one I make you.
Hey, look, we are absolutely willing to go on location to do
You
a
can
show.
go to American Whiskey, and I guarantee you I'll make them stiffer than you do.
There you go. All right. I don't doubt that. Yeah, man. So the Stone Pony, I love the live music venue. My chick and I both bartend there. The summer stage, which is like 30 nights of summer. It's such a good time. You know, it might sound crazy to have a side hustle like that when you're, 41-year-old guy with a full-time gig, and my chick is also a nurse. But bro, it's so much fun. It just being out at the beach, live music, 5,000 people. Most people are never in bad moods when they're at concerts. There you go, Joba. Let's go.
I mean, you see the championship ring. Like a lot of things stop. We went as a show down to the Super Bowl, and I got to see a couple of giant Super Bowl rings, and I got to put on the 07 and the 11 ring. I don't know which one was better. I think I like the 07 ring better just because they beat the undefeated Patriots that year, the most famous, in my opinion, upset of the Super Bowl that I remember watching. But a ring is a ring, man. Like those things are awesome.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome.
Well, and especially, not to get too down into it, but that 09 team, man, that was wild to watch. I was like 25, 26 that season. So that's when I was like right field bleachers, insane out of my brain every night, anytime I could get in the stadium. When Bald Vinny was the bleacher creature, not whoever the new guy is, who's a nice guy, nice enough guy, but nobody beats Bald Vinny. I mean, the OG of it all. like if you didn't get into a near scuffle anytime you were in the right field bleachers back in those days, man, you left covered in beer and it was never your own.
My friend, it's funny. My friend actually went to a road game when the Yankees played the Phillies in the World Series. He said the Philly fans actually like dumped a bunch of soda on him, like from the row behind him at one of the games he was at. So, tell everything you need to know about the Philly fans, which is not surprising. By the way, before I get to my question, I will salute you for your service as well. I know you're an Army guy.
Nah, thanks, man.
I'll give
Appreciate
you a salute. Now, shifting to the biggest news of the weekend, and that was the Rafael Devers trade. Or were you shocked? Obviously, the Yankees got swept initially. Were you shocked that the Red Sox did that after that?
I was. I mean, you saw a lot of the turmoil going on there with the leadership in Devers. I mean, I don't. Just as a team guy, I don't know how much I would have appreciated some of his approach to it. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's the face of that franchise in a lot of ways and has been for a while. I mean, he was the last remaining guy of the World Series team. I mean, I was surprised because he's a ball player. I mean, that guy can hit. I don't know. I'd be interested, Job, in your take. I didn't hear if you guys were talking about it before. Like, when a guy's saying the stuff he's saying, won't switch positions, I mean, does that cause a headache in the clubhouse, or is it just his approach with leadership? Is what I don't know. I mean,
the team was all very young at once. They brought up 3 kids this year, 3 rookies all at once, which I guess was unconventional. But it seemed like the position thing was the main thing. Which in today's game, where it's so position versatile, it seems surprising. Like you have guys that could play to both corner outfield spots and first base, like somebody like Bellinger, like can play all those and be fine with it. And even infielders, they've play second, they'll play left field, they'll play third. Like it's just kind of weird in today's game that he would be that fussy, I guess.
You just hear sacrifice for the team, right? Like you grew up playing sports. You know, I'm sure in the Army, you know, it's about the squad. It's about us together. It's not about any one person. And when someone's like, no, I'm not going to do that, it's just so strange. I mean, they did pay the guy a lot of money. I guess he felt entitled to say that, right? They're like, well, you just gave me that contract. The contract was that I was going to play third base. So now maybe not. It's just, I mean, when you're making over $250 million, does it really matter if you're playing on the left side or the right side of the diamond? It's guaranteed money, isn't it, Joba?
It is, but also at the same time, you got to understand, and I think Frank can understand this too. It's like, yeah, we have our job, but sometimes we got to do other shit.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes we have to step up and like, you know what? Let me do something else where I don't want to do it. And that's a difference between good and great. Where men step up in certain places and certain decisions where you understand it's like, let me make a sacrifice. Frank, you made the greatest sacrifice for us to be able to let us do what we do. And that is one of the greatest things ever. Because I'd never had the balls enough to do what you did. I was able to throw a baseball, great. That don't mean a lot. But also, too, when it comes down to what we're talking about, is like, put yourself out of the money side. Let's win.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we want to win. Don't give a damn what it is. I don't like losing. I don't care if I'm playing Uno with my son or what I'm doing. I don't like to lose. So if I have to sacrifice something, then that's what it is. So, Frank, when you obviously being a Yankees fan, and, you know, you're only a couple years older than me. More gray than me, though. So
I know, dog. I know.
I'm proud of myself.
Keep it. Yo, but you got to keep growing it.
My dad was never gray, so, like, I think I got a little bit of that. But my dad couldn't grow a beard either, so. But he was also 100% Native American, so that didn't help either. But when you make those sacrifices in, like, certain things, like, is there a conversation? Because, like, what we've talked about today is, like, do you have that? Or when it happens, do you just react to it?
I mean, look, man, I think just in anything in life, whether it's the military, professional sports, I mean, Joba, you're a parent, so, and fellas, I don't know if you guys are, but if you are, I mean, there's a lot of times what you're doing on any given day changes, and I think Joba said it off the jump, like, you got to step up, you got to do what you got to do. I was surprised how it was handled the whole way around. I think the Red Sox leadership in bringing him in or bringing Bregman in without a real conversation and involving Rafael might have created a little bit of unnecessary tension off the jump. At the end of the day, I think I was surprised they didn't get a little bit more for him, to be quite frank. That to me seemed like work through the issue. And especially a few hours earlier, he was at the podium, right? He was interviewed kind of saying like, yo, I'm here. Everything's great. And then he's in an Uber, leaving.
He literally said like, if you guys, I'm here, I want to be here. But if you guys don't want me, I don't want to play for people that don't want me. And they got rid of him. They clearly said they didn't want him. And
which is, yeah, I mean, I thought they might have got a little bit more. I know the one pitcher's kind of a stud, but I mean, Devers, I mean, oddly enough, when I first saw that, I was like, man, I wonder if the Yankees might get in the mix and try to get who's playing third for the Giants?
Chapman, but he's hurt now.
Yeah, so Devers gets to go over there and look, Chapman was a Gold Glover in the NL. Bregman was the Gold Glover of the AL. He goes there. It's the exact same situation for him over there. Just, it's because he has 2 Gold Glove third basemen. He's not going to play third base over there. They have a Gold Glover in Matt Chapman that they paid a bunch of money to. So he's going to be in the same scenario. I bet he's the DH. He'll play some third. He'll back up at third. He'll get some games in there. But he's not going to play a ton of third. He's going to be their DH, and probably they're going to ask him to play first next year. But I bet he does it to kind of stick it to Boston now. Because why would Boston do that?
I don't know. The trade didn't make a ton of sense to me. The timing of it, just the haul back for him. I thought if they waited a little bit longer, closer to the deadline, they might have been able to get a little bit more for Devers. I mean, but they might have also been 7 or 8 games up over 500 at that point, and been in a better position for themselves. So I don't know. The timing of it to me seemed off, but it might be like a divorce, man. You just kind of, hey, we're doing it today, and there is no tomorrow, man. There is no tomorrow. So that's.
Yeah, hey guys, we are talking to U.S. Army veteran, Associate Vice President for Development of Tunnel to Towers Foundation, owner and operator of Upstage Strategies, the public affairs professional himself, Mr. Frank Luna. Joba, question for Frank.
I do honestly have a question, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's baseball related. I think it's man related, right? So when things change and you understand kind of what your role is, and like as we talk about sports and we talk about Shea Alexander in basketball and then certain guys, like if you were the leader or if you were the guy in the troop, like how did you guys come together and respect that guy who was the leader? Because we all had him. And how did you, either being the leader or the guy in the troop, because we're all on a team, how did you, the mental capacity, how do I be better? That's the one thing I want to know.
Job, I appreciate that. And my military story is a little, I don't want to say interesting, but I joined at 36 years old. And I went enlisted infantry in the Army National Guard, which I had a college degree. I'd spent years working in a professional capacity. I went enlisted infantry because that was kind of like almost what you're saying. That was like the bottom of the barrel, knuckle dragging. Like that's what the Army had to offer, was like the guys who kill the bad guys, right? Like that's what I wanted to be. And, I got there and I was rocking a Jimmy Buffett t-shirt, and I was twice the age of most of the guys there. And I get off the bus, and the first drill sergeant is just yelling in my face. And he's like, "Are you lost? Are you effing lost?" And I'm like, man, I'm effed. And I looked the guy in the eye, and I was like, "No, drill sergeant, just a little bit late." And bro, you could have heard a pin drop. And I thought I was cooked at that point. I'm like, I am freaking dead. And I'll tell you, man, the guy kind of looked at me and walked away. And as he was walking away, he like looked back at me. And I'm like, all right, I didn't die. That's an interesting way for him to respond to that. So I think to me, anytime leadership gets brought up, I just say, like, dude, you gotta do what you're gonna ask anybody else to do behind you. And that's in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is podcasting. You got to be able to cut a promo and go to break, right, and do all those things the right way. So for me, it was all about being willing to do what I had to do, or that I would ask anybody else to do. So, just the cheesiest thing we hear as kids, right? Like, lead by example. So I think if you do those things, people look at you and follow your lead when you're going wherever the hell it is you're going.
So how have you applied that with some of the Yankees players that you've worked with? I know Oswaldo Cabrera, Ben Rice, Will Warren, some of them on the Major League roster, and then a couple of the prospects as well. What type of approach, like, is it something similar you would take when you were in the Army to doing it with athletes? Obviously, it's not the same level as combat, like Joba was saying, but like it's still something that you're going into, like brotherhood, the team culture in the locker room, with, especially with a team like the Yankees that has all this tradition.
Well, I never served in combat, but I was activated once to the Capitol on January 6th. After that whole thing that went down there a few years ago. So I can't speak to the combat side of things, but I think Jabba can probably talk about this, the amount of events he's done over his career. 3 years ago, I was sitting at my kitchen table and I was kind of bored, and I was like, man, I wonder how hard it is to do an event with a guy on the Yankees. So, I just emailed a bunch of people, DM'd, Instagram, whatever the hell it was. And, one guy got back to me and he's like, hey, Oswaldo Cabrera is going to be in New Jersey, New York on December 18th. I remember the date for whatever reason. And he's like, here's how much it costs. It's a few hours and here's what you get for it. I'm like, send me the contract. And the guy's like, like, this isn't a joke. And I'm like, dude, send me the contract. Like, I'm in, I'm good for it. And he sent me the contract. I signed it. And, I think from my angle, I was never in, and I never kind of got into the whole autograph, public appearance, athlete thing to make a ton of money for myself. For me, first and foremost, treat the athlete like the guy that they are and deserve to be treated like. Two, make sure they get paid on time, picked up the right way. They're never the one to say no to stuff. That whatever you agree upon beforehand is what happens on site. But a lot of that stuff, the integrity of it, I think, I learned in the military. That was a big thing in the military. Like, I'm never a guy who's like, yo, can you sign these 40 pieces for these kids with cancer? Like, that stuff's just so cheesy, and I hate when I see that shit. But to me, I worked in politics and government for a long time. I worked with governors, senators, congressmen. So to me, it was really just kind of treating the athlete the same way I would treat one of those guys. I'm not an equal on any level, but we're both men. Like, we're here for the right reason. We're doing it. We're doing this thing here. The athlete doesn't want me to lose money because that's going to put them at risk of getting paid right then and there. And, to me, it's just have a good attitude about it. And the most important thing that I think gets lost just generally in sports and life, that shit's about the kids, man. Like, that ain't about the grown-ass man who's wearing sweatpants with 16 baseballs. That is about that 9-year-old kid who's going to look up and see Joba Chamberlain in 2008 at an ice cream shop in New York and get his picture taken with him and get an autograph. So that's kind of like my 30,000-foot view of it. I feel like I've done pretty well in that space the past 3 years. And I do what I say I'm going to do, and I do it the right way. I mean, that's just really how I feel that shit should go, quite frankly.
And if for me too, it's like my dad worked in corrections for 30 years. I grew up with jack shit. And Dad always said is what you give, you receive.
Yep.
And if you give respect, does not matter. It's like I'm not curing cancer. I'm giving you 3 hours for you to do what you want to do.
Yep.
You guys in your same realm, and I've been so fortunate enough when I had my Tommy John.
Yep.
God bless Dr. Andrews. Thank you so much. But I got to work out with Eagle Fund guys.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Can't say who they are or what they do because you can't do that. But these are the best of the best. And it's a mutual respect and exactly what you say. It's like, just do what you do. Like, and I don't want nothing from you.
Yep.
Like, I honestly, like, the greatest joy that I ever got was those dudes challenging me. Because I'm just a fat kid from the north side of Lincoln that happened to make it in baseball. If you want to come get some, come get some.
That's
like,
it.
I'm
Yep.
good. I'm good. And it was just fun. And
That's cool.
I think for me, like, when it comes to all of these things and how, you have grown your career and what you've done and how you did it later. But it's just like, how do you not respect that factor? Like, you allowed me to do what I do. Like, my dad was great. God bless his soul. I lost him 3 months ago. But he was like, you don't take shit from nobody. You may not be able to beat him up. I was like, well, I don't want to fight nobody. And he goes, you know what you do? You do your job because they can't beat you if you do your job.
Yep.
And I got that opportunity to do that, and so did you. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation because there are certain dudes that you have conversations with that understand certain things. And it's like an unwritten rule when you meet men like that where they don't have to say what they say, but you know what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that, John. I don't mean to get too into it, but I remember, and I think anybody who ever met your dad just always had such an awesome opinion of him. And, I was talking to my cousin Tim today, and I was like, hey, man, I'm going on Joba Chamberlain's podcast tonight. And he was like, dude, you remember that time we met Harlan at the Yankee game? And he was just so cool. I'm sure we probably took. I don't even know if we had camera phones back then, but like I remember meeting your dad, and he may have been in. Was he in a motorized wheelchair back then? Or
yep.
Yeah, yep. And we met him at the stadium, and he always had your jersey on, right? If I remember, he wore your jersey.
No, he just wore a Yankee hat.
Okay, all right. And I remember we met your dad at a game, and think about that. My cousin, 15, 16 years. That had to be maybe 18 years later, is still thinking fondly of Harlan, all these years later. So I thought you'd appreciate knowing that, and I know you recently lost him, so I want to let you know I'm thinking of you guys, and he left his mark on a lot of people, man, and I know he was proud of you, and that's something that you can't buy, and you've carried yourself in a way that left your father proud, and
I will say, Frank, too. It's like knowing Dad and getting to spend the life I did with him.
Yep.
And not to get emotional by any means, but Father's Day was yesterday, and it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough the first day without my dad.
Yep.
And my dad was my best friend. Yep. And I missed him a lot.
Yeah.
And I missed him a lot. But it was so cool because I got to hear stories. And I'm like, I love posting on social and talking to fans. But it was something that I really wanted to, like, I was like, do I post that my dad passed? Like, that's kind of bougie. Like, oh, you're just trying to get clicks. And I'm not trying to, because I don't I don't need it. I don't want it.
No, man, yeah.
But the coolest thing I did, and I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it because there were so many pictures of my dad interacting with fans
Mm.
that I never saw because I was on the field.
Yeah.
And I would never have had that if it wasn't for. Social media is shit at times because people take it a different way. And that's why I didn't really want to do it at first. But I was like, I've kind of done some cool things, so let's see if it works. But I really don't care pictures that I got that I would have never have seen if I did not post that. And it was so cool. They're like, he was great. He met us over here and
Yeah,
other
man.
things.
Yeah.
And I put it at his memorial and it was just so cool. And I can't thank the fans enough and the people that have followed me. And have I fucked up? Yes, 100%. But they stuck with me and they rode with me and we had a great run. And it was really cool just to see the stories. I had no idea about half of these. Dad, Dad would give me half of it. He'd be like,
yeah.
"Oh, I met this really cool person from, Rhode Island or something." And I'd be like, "Oh, what? That doesn't tell me much, Dad. Sorry."
Yep.
But I got to see all these things, and I spent a lot of time, and I know I couldn't get back to everybody, but for everybody that did that, I am so grateful. And I am so thankful that my dad got to spend that time with you guys, and I got that time with my father. And that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, man. I appreciate even you saying all that, and my dad and I think we're skipping out of line a little bit, but it just kind of came to my mind, and my dad and I have had an interesting relationship throughout our years, like all of us, right? I mean, Fish, I'm sure you've had it. I mean, we've all had those things, right? And yesterday I drove down and had lunch with my parents, and you gotta keep going, and your parents at the end of the day are kind of like the only two who stand behind you, and in some cases one, where it might just be your dad or your mom, and Joba, you said you've messed up, man. Everyone has, we all have, and at the end of the day, all we got is just 24 hours every single day to try to do right. And I remember I was talking to this one guy once, kind of one of my mentors in life. And he said to me, like, it's just crazy. He's like, if you go through any given day and make it to the end of the day, that's miracle number one in your life. If you make it to any given day and you helped one person that day, that's miracle number two. Every single one of us has the chance at two miracles every 24 hours. And dude, I gotta tell you, when he put that to me that way, I was like, holy shit, like that just made so much sense to me. Like, wow, man, all I got to do is make it through today and help one person. And, to just kind of wrap all that stuff up. Like, we go through bad stuff so we can help other people go through bad stuff, and whether it's the loss of a parent, it's, something to your career, something in your personal life. I guarantee you, every one of us, like, have done something not great that we're going to help somebody go through something similar at some point in our lives. So I don't know how this just got so deep.
I didn't expect us to get this deep, Frank.
But hey, man, look.
It's all good. Joba, we were going to do a Father's Day segment, but we're kind of doing it now.
There you have it.
It's actually better than anything I had written, because how can you write something so pure and emotional like that? For me, I'm very thankful my father's still here. I coach football up at near West Point. I have a lot of kids.
Awesome.
Half of them live on the Army base. I'm an offensive, defensive line coach, kind of offensive assistant. I've been doing it for a long time. It's awesome. Such a joyful thing to be able to coach kids whose parents are in the armed services. It's like an extra responsibility. Obviously, you get a lot less talking back to you on a football field than you do in certain places that I've coached. A little trained a little differently over here, but I bring up coaching because you have some background in strength and conditioning, and especially when we talk about baseball, and I see it in football all the time, but in baseball, there's all these elbow injuries. There's all these Tommy John injuries. We see these young pitchers, these stud pitchers. This year it was Jackson Jobe was supposed to be the next guy. As soon as we hear flexor tendon strain, we all know what that means at this point. They got to stop with these fake names for a torn elbow.
By the way, we call it every time on this show.
Yeah, we like call it at this point. We know
the last three we've called them.
So my question to you, Frank, I remember the story of A-Rod warming up with a football at Yankee Stadium because he wanted to train the other ligaments and muscles in his elbow surrounding the ones he uses to play baseball with. And I was wondering if you had any experience with training athletes, especially baseball athletes, to try to you see all this like the fall ball, the 24/7. They're playing all year round. They're doing the same motion. These guys blow out their arms by the time they're in rookie ball, or by the time and they never end up having that career. How much of that do you see? Do you train baseball athletes? But we see it in all sports, overtraining and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really train individual athletes. I'm a partner in a strength and conditioning facility. A lot of the guys who work out there got a lot of college athletes that train there, and I think you kind of touched on it, Fish. When kids at a very young age are throwing harder and a lot more than maybe their arms were meant to. My stepson is 9 years old, and that kid, this year was his first year of Little League, and they the same three kids pitched every game. Right. I'm like, what are we doing here, man? These kids are 9. And it was like a rec Little League, the same kids pitched every game. So I think that's a huge part of it. I think they're throwing, the velocity's up, right? I mean, these kids are throwing harder in high school and college than they, I think, have thrown in quite some time. So I think that's just overuse, man, and for the wrong reasons like that. Yeah. Come on, dude, 9 years old. These kids shouldn't be throwing 70 pitches. I mean, it's funny, quick story about that. My girlfriend's fiance's son, I just got engaged. He asked his coach if he could pitch.
Congratulations, Doug. Congratulations.
Appreciate that, boys. Thank you. There it is, John. There you go.
Yeah,
I'm joining the club.
It's something. It's
exclusive club. You got it.
Speedy, where you at?
Speedy's a little bit away from that right now, unfortunately.
A little might be a stretch.
Speedy, do you have any prospects?
All right.
No current prospects for Speedy, unfortunately.
We're working
None
on
that
that.
he knows of yet.
We're working on
Well,
that.
we're trying. We're trying. We know
sign me up as a friend of that. Speedy, where do you live? Speedy?
Frank, you're
Speedy, where do you live at?
Well, I'm on Long Island. My immediate family's in Connecticut. But your buddy Nathan is trying to be he's trying to scout out some other prospects for sure. He's trying to make it always seem like he's going to be a wingman.
Yo,
we got to take him to the Jersey Shore.
Here's what I'm going to do, Speedy. I'm going to send you a link to the Stone Pony Summer Stage. You like concerts?
I've been to a bunch of them. Yes, I've been to a bunch of concerts.
If you're a concert guy, I'm going to send you a link to this thing. You pick the night of the concert that you want to come to. I'm going to give you a spot right next to my bar. I'm going to put you on I get 2 tickets per night. I'm giving you 1 ticket. You can use the other as a date, and then you'll know a bartender. You got a VIP ticket. You're in early. You know the bartender. This old guy's throwing drinks at you all night.
Hey,
or
is it a free tab, Frank? Is it a free tab?
Hell yeah, I got him, Java. I'm not even invited. He's my guest, bro. I mean, shit, he's my guest. I'm not going to charge him, put him on my tab. I'm going to cover his drinks. And then you could either bring a chick, which that's kind of cool. You bring a chick, you get a hotel room not far. Say, hey, we're going to have a couple drinks. We're going to go to this concert. I know this guy. He works there.
Write all this down, Speedy.
No, you don't even write it down. I'm going to text it to him.
Even better.
And then you get like $120 hotel room somewhere nice, maybe a little more money since you're saving money on the concert, and you don't have to worry about food or anything that night. Just eat a pretzel when you're there, or you come with one of your good friends who's like a good guy, and then you guys can meet.
What do you mean? What do you mean good though, Frank? Like what does that mean?
Know this. You know this.
Okay.
We all have men in our life that if we go to a concert and we have an open bar at it, it's not going to go well. But we do have men in our life that we know if we do this, we'll get through the night okay and there will be no issues. So, my offer to Speedy, you tell me, you want one ticket? You just come and then you meet a nice young lady there that night, or you get two and you have a cool date night at the Jersey Shore. It's on you, bro. You don't even need to call now. But I'm just saying that's about as good offer as you're going to get on a night like tonight. So,
I mean, I don't know how much better that gets, Speedy.
Yeah. Speedy, that's like an all inclusive right there.
All inclusive night in Asbury Park, buddy. I'm not buying your hotel room and I'm not going home with you. But you'll.
I wasn't going to ask that.
Speedy, I will buy your hotel room.
Look at this. It gets better, Speedy.
Done.
I will buy your hotel room.
Yep.
Oh
all
man,
right.
we can't wait. So look, Frank, we loved having you on. I just got one more thing for you.
Yeah.
But we
I don't know how we're going to top that. I don't know how we're going to top that.
Well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to top that by asking you about your new gig that you have with Tunnel to Towers. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing over there and what that foundation is all about?
Yeah, man. It's really God works in mysterious ways. I never expected to be working with this foundation. They do literally the Lord's work. So there's a few aspects of what Tunnel to Towers Foundation is doing. First and foremost, if you're a service member or a first responder who gets killed in the line of duty, Tunnel to Towers Foundation comes in. They pay the family's mortgage off. They make sure the kids are able to stay in their home, and there's no issues around that. If a service member or first responder is injured catastrophically, Tunnel to Towers will build them a smart home, which, as you can imagine, this isn't something you would think about unless you know guys or women who have gone through it. Say you're a sergeant in the Army, you got a 7-year-old kid and you're married and you lose your leg in combat or a training accident. You can't really live in the house you were living in before that. You're going to need, and Joba, from having Harlan as your dad, there's adjustments that need to be made to the home. And so Tunnel Towers will come in, make sure that the home is outfitted correctly for, to deal with that injury.
Okay. So Frank, tell us how our fans and everybody can get involved with that, like website or whatever it is. Like, let us know how we can, because we'll do this on the show, because that for me is going to Dad's house and understanding how I had to make his house.
Yeah.
And you guys sacrificing your life and sometimes changes happen, right?
Yep.
So let us know how we can help you guys, like website wise, if there's something that we can do, that we can post and do everything and I can do. And from my family to yours, I will 100% do that. And so just let me know.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I mean, T2T.org is the website. There's a really big push. There were so many people trying to reach out, hey, how can we help? So they wanted to make it, sometimes when you're doing charity stuff, you're like, if I donate $10, does it really even matter? Well, they've got an effort where an initiative to donate $11 a month. And, dude, you sign up on your credit card or your debit card. $11 a month is easy enough for all.
We spend way too much money that wastes. Like, we can do that.
Yeah. So it's a really manageable amount for most folks, and that's a really good way to contribute. And the money, over 90% of the money, you should see our offices. Like I sit in like a cubby. We're not like this big fancy office space in Manhattan. We're like literally, Joba, I shit you not, we're in Staten Island, and we're next to a tanning salon, and a hair salon. So it's like the most Staten Island thing in the world. There's
at least you're next to a hair salon because you have hair. Because I don't. Your hairline is fantastic.
I appreciate that, Job. I need that.
I got crickets.
I look great.
Why do you think I always I got a great beard. I wish I could
beard.
transfer some of this here.
I know
it don't work though. But
I feel good at 41. My old man still has his hair all right. So one of the few good things my dad gave me was his hairline, I guess. So
I will say this, and I know we had a Father's Day segment, but when they put Dad to rest, they had him in a comb over, and I'm like, no, Dad wore hats. Get out of here. We are not doing that.
Yo, and by Job, I have got to correct this because you'll love this story even more. I try to stay off the phone when we're doing something like this. So my cousin texted me. I misremembered the story about your dad. My cousin was wearing your jersey and asked Harlan to autograph it, and he did.
How about
I did. So I want to tell a great story.
Yeah.
And Fish, I'm killing your segment. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
no. We're gonna just do it right here, right now. In fact, you know what? I'll put up the graphic for it.
And so, my dad was with us in 2010 when we got our rings. My father wore it every day. Every day. And my dad asked my son two things. Not even me. Because I was going to bury my dad with this ring because he wore it every day. And Carter said he wanted to keep it. And he asked him about his house. And my son wanted to keep that as well. You know what I did? And I know I devalued the ring. I took a diamond out of it because Dad's not here anymore. And I will never replace it, and I won't care because this is the man that got me to where I'm at. And I'm good with that. I'm good. And I will never replace it. Because when I always look at it, now that I have it, I will always think of my father, and I love my dad, and I think about him every day. But when my son gets it, he gets to see a hole in it, and he gets to think about his choka, which is, so as Native Americans, choka is grandfather in our language. And so I go, Carter, when I pass, you take another diamond out. And then you pass it on to yours. My dad was the man. My dad was the shit.
Job, thanks for sharing that, man. I love that. And you said you may have devalued the ring, man. If anything, you made it more valuable. And what a cool heirloom and story for your boy. And that's life, man. Ain't that it?
He was supposed to be on the show with us today because we got a media pass for him. Thanks, Nathan. Love you. But Carter's like at the lake and hanging out with his girlfriend and doing all the other stuff. And
how old is he, Job?
I guess I would probably be doing that when I'm 19 too.
He's 19. Holy cow! Wow.
He's sophomore in college. In college.
That's awesome, man.
If I'm not mistaken, we had a picture of him at one point in college. There it was.
Oh wow!
There's Carter down there in the middle. That's from one of the first episodes.
That it came in. Yeah.
Remember that when he came
Carter's
on the show?
right next to our logo. Yeah.
Yeah, right next to the logo.
He was in the back seat with his buddies. They were doing what college kids do, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Frank, listen, man, we had a great time having you on.
Yeah,
We'd love to have you
boys.
on again. Yep. Anytime to come talk about anything going on with the Yankees or, anything doing with what you're doing over here with Tunnel to Towers Foundation. We're just so appreciative of magnificent job tonight, man. Thanks for coming on.
It's you guys. Yo, hold up. Everybody. Go ahead, Java. What were you saying?
Also, let us know how we can help.
Yes.
In any way. In any way.
Yeah, let
Job,
Nathan
you
know.
ever make it back out to the East Coast? Get out to New York?
I'm gonna get out once I get Carter back to college.
Cool. Yeah, man.
I'm
Fans would love to see
gonna
you.
spend the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, fans would love to see you out here too, man. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, we'll figure something cool out. And Speedy, don't think you're off the hook because you're on mute, dog. Like
I'm not on mute.
I'm gonna send you.
I'm not on mute.
I'm gonna send you that calendar of all the concerts, and you better let my ass know.
All right, hold on. Nathan wants to come in.
This is
the leash legend wants to come in.
Can you see this, Java? Can you see this?
The leash legend.
That's my cousin showing you the picture.
I got arrested in that
showing
sweatshirt.
you the jersey your dad signed.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I got arrested in that sweatshirt. Yep.
My cousin probably got arrested in that jersey, so don't feel bad.
Perfect. Works.
That's pretty funny.
Yo, Frank, what up?
What up, Nathan? What's up, man?
Thank you for joining.
The legend.
Yeah, thank you for
man.
The legend of the leash.
I told these guys I thought you were pranking me.
Oh, why would I prank you, man? I would never prank you like that. Yeah. Yo, but no, truly, thank you for joining, man. This was really impactful. So.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
I think,
I'll see you on this weekend.
Know me, man. I'll be running around somewhere.
Can you guys hurry up? Because I gotta pee.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, us old guys got to go to the bathroom. Let us get off.
Nathan came in to purposely impact your bladder.
Guys, that was
Appreciate you.
Final read off for you, Frank. That's U.S. Army veteran, Associate Vice President for Development of Tunnel to Towers Foundation, owner and operator of Upstage Strategies, public affairs professional, Mr. Frank Luna. Thanks so much for joining us, Frank.
Adios, boys. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Later.
Later, guys.